All right, gang, welcome to our third and final day of how a t-shirt is made. By this point, you should have completed your first 2 days activities. Chapter 1, all about cotton. Chapter 2, all about the machines. And Chapter 3, all about the people. We're moving on to Chapter 4 here. And so our day 3 task, it says use the link to go back to that Google Earth tour. And then we see first, click the play button and watch the video about shipping containers. Trust me, and this is actually me speaking. Yes, it is way more interesting than it sounds. There is a minor curse word in it. Please don't repeat it. And then also, as you are watching, just one thing you see, one thing you think, and one thing that you wonder. So we're going to go ahead and play that video. And again, as you're watching, one thing you see, one thing you think, and one thing you wonder. So we're going to open up our table of contents. You can do this on your own as well. And we're going to go to Chapter 4, all about the boxes. We're going to click the play button, and as we're letting it play through, feel free to pause, but here we go. I see, I think, I wonder.
Our t-shirts got from the factories in Colombia and Bangladesh back home to us in this, a shipping container. This one right there, that's ours. And containers are the unsung innovation that makes the global economy possible. Containers came on the scene in the 1960s, and they made shipping, which used to be a huge pain in the much more efficient. The container is loaded onto our ship, captained by this guy. The ship leaves Colombia. A week later, it arrives in Miami. Our container with our shirts inside then gets loaded back onto a truck. And then onto a train, where it makes its way north. And this whole journey, thousands of miles, ships, trains, and trucks, cost just pennies per shirt. A tiny fraction of the cost of the raw materials in our shirt. Far less than the cost to print the design on our shirt. And a drop in the bucket compared to what it costs our shirts to take the final leg of the journey, from our warehouse to you. So here's to you, shipping container, the humble hero of the global economy.
All right, so again, in these boxes, you should put one thing you saw in the video, one thing you think from the video, and one thing you wonder from the video. If you haven't done that, pause me and go ahead and do that. And now, click the link and read the article, which is also linked right here in your doc, and it's also linked in Google Earth, and then answer the question below in the green box. How has the shipping container made t-shirts, sneakers, phones, and just about everything we buy cheaper? So here is the article that's linked out, and it's all about the shipping container and basically why you can send a shirt around the world for pennies. So what I'm going to have you do again is basically pause me, skim through this article, read chunks and pieces and take a look at it, and then answer the question on your doc. And then after you have answered the question right here, I would like you to press play and resume me. So go ahead and pause. All right, so you should have then, you read all about the shipping container and answered the question here. And now we're on to our final chapter, Chapter 5, You. First, click the play button to watch the video, then answer the questions below. So here are the questions again in green. We're going to be answering those while or after we watch the video, but let's get that video queued up and let's get to it.
¿Qué crees que le gustaría o qué te gustaría a ti que esa gente que está comprando esta camiseta que sepa de ti? ¿Qué te gustaría que ellos...
¿Qué hay detrás de esta camiseta? Sí, un mundo.
বেশিরভাগ স্বপ্নে দেখি যে বড় বড় নদী পার হয়ে যায় আমি মাঝখানে যায় নৌকা অথবা ডিঙি যেটা ডুবে যায় আমি এটার মধ্যে থেকে সাঁতার কেটে নদীটা পার হয়ে যাই
mundo, una persona con sueños, con esperanzas, que quiere salir adelante. Personas con muchas necesidades, humildes, también con muchos sueños.
All right. So, bringing it back on over here, then, as we watch that video, what was something interesting you learned? And then this part right here, if you could talk to Jasmine, Doris, or any of the other people behind the making of your t-shirts, what 2 questions would you ask them? So, what was like? Let's say you could talk to Jasmine and or Doris. Right here in the box, who would you talk to, and what is the question that you would ask them? And then why would you ask them that question? And then again, for question 2, who are you going to ask? Jasmine, Doris, or maybe someone else in the process? What are you going to ask them and why? So for this part, you're going to include the question and then why you would ask that question. And then to close it all out, reflect back on the journey of a t-shirt from seed to shop, and then just give us a couple of observations or a couple of thoughts. You could, of course, go all the way back and, just take a look at everything and just kind of click through. You could click around this entire Google Earth. You could go to different chapters if you wanted to review. There's all kinds of different things that you could look at, but really just kind of close it out with just 2 final thoughts. And then after you put in those 2 final thoughts, make sure all of your green boxes are filled up throughout. And then you're going to be submitting this onto Google Classroom. There's going to be another step that we'll be doing eventually where we'll reflect back on this. But your job for now is done. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a little bit about the entire mundo, the entire world behind a simple t-shirt.